everybody, and welcome to Novel Noms.
From classics to children's books, you never know what she's gonna cook when Gretchen makes Novel Noms.
So this week, I'm doing something special for someone who happens to be Megan Tonjes. I don't know if you know her. I'll put her link down below so you can check out her music. She's a friend of mine, and I also do a collab channel with her, and she is embarking on a whole food journey, which I was so excited about. And I told her, I said, tell me what it is. I'll make something for you, because she was lamenting over not being able to have certain things. So tell me what you want, and I will make a version of it that isn't bad for you. So she loves Bosnian food. I know her best friend's husband is Bosnian, and she kind of got introduced to that food, and her favorite thing is something called Chevapis, which are like a sausage. It's an Eastern European, like no casing style sausage that is made from ground beef and some very simple ingredients, and doesn't have to be bad for you. Shocker. And I thought, well, what book can I do but one of her favorite books, which is Jane Eyre. And I hadn't read Jane Eyre in years, and so I was so excited to go back and take a look at it. I thought, how am I going to tie Jane Eyre to Bosnian food? Maybe she had a Bosnian cousin. Instead of Rochester, it was Mr. Serbia. I don't know. In the book, Jane faces a lot of obstacles. You know, in the first part of the book, she's in the situation with her aunt and her cousins, and that's awful, and she goes to this school, and she has those things to overcome as, like, you know, an orphan, so to speak, and, you know, goes on to have some conflict with the person that she falls in love with, and all of those things that stand in the way of her being happy and truly finding what is her sense of home, since she never really had, you know, that stability and a place where she could kind of, you know, feel comfortable. And I think that's what food is all about. It's about finding something that tastes good, that feels good, that makes you feel good, and it also partly reminds you of home, whatever home may be, whether that's someplace you visited, or a person who made a certain dish for you, or just a food that you've come to love. And when we start eating foods that we don't love so that we can lose weight, or, you know, whatever our motivation, sometimes, you know, it's discouraging, and it can make us feel like there are a lot of obstacles to us finding that balance between what tastes good, you know, and what may not always be the best thing for us, and what feels good in our souls. So I'm gonna make something that hopefully will feel good in your souls and in the souls of Megan. She has many souls of Megan Tonjes. So we're gonna make Chevapis, a delicious roasted eggplant and eggplant chickpea. And the best part about that being, you know, the search for home is one of the main male characters in the book is Mr. Rochester, and I'm from Rochester. Home, books, food. It all connects, people. It all connects. First thing I did was turn on my oven because I need to get the stuff started for the salad that's going to go with our Chevapi. About one giant red pepper. Whoa! I was going to do a lot of little peppers and stuff them with, but I noticed how expensive peppers were, and so I just got the biggest one I could find. And what we're going to do is we're going to basically fillet it and roast it, and you're going to see what we're going to do. It's going to be amazing. I'm also going to slice up my eggplant, and we're going to roast that. And I'm also going to put on the tray to roast some chickpeas. These are just canned, drained chickpeas. Okay, now while those are roasting, I'm going to start the Chevapi mix. And it's very simple. All I'm going to do is I'm going to take an onion, cut it into just big chunks, put it in my little magic bullet, and I'm going to mix it up. Alright, so I got about a half of a minced onion. It feels very oniony. Just a pound of some lean ground beef. And I'm going to add in that minced onion to mix it in. Now, there are different recipes, and people maybe from different areas of Bosnia or whatever may have different variations. But you want to make what makes you happy. If you don't like onions, you don't have to add onion in there. I'm just making the very traditional. I actually looked up probably about 10, 15 different recipes just to make sure I found the right combination, and I wanted to find the common threads. Then go wash your hands. Next, I'm also going to add into it what's called Vegeta, V-E-G-E-T-A. You can order this online. I'm going to put a link below. It's very cheap. You can order it online. But it's basically dehydrated vegetables. So it's got salt, dehydrated vegetables, onion, celery, parsley leaves, carrot, garlic. It's got a little bit of sugar, a little bit of turmeric, coriander, black pepper. I mean, so it's a great combination of stuff. You can actually use this for like a soup stock. But this is a very common seasoning for this. All right, so I'm going to put about a tablespoon of this Vegeta, or dehydrated vegetables, into my mix. Yum. Incorporated. Some recipes say to add an egg, some don't. I actually am out of eggs, so I'm not going to be using eggs. You also need some kind of a binder, and I'm using some cornmeal, and that's only because I can't have regular breadcrumbs, but by all means use breadcrumbs. We've got burger, we've got onion, we've got Vegeta. That's it. I'm just gonna form this all together. I love stuff like this. It's super easy, and the best part is, like, you might assume that something like this is fried, and you could probably put this in a lot of oil, but all the traditional preparations of all the traditional preparations of Chevapi that I found actually did it on an open grill. You know, like they do it at, you know, cookouts, and it's a big fair food, and I'll put some links below so you can check out beef juice and the eye. Now, there were many fancy ways to make this that I could find. People, you know, roll it out like Play-Doh, which is about what we're about to do. They had fancy little presses where they put the ball of meat and they push it and the sausages come out the bottom. I don't know. If you make this, I would love to know how you make it. All I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of the meat, ball it up, and just start working it into a long snake that we can cut into our individual sausages. Okay, now those are ready to cook, and they're going to cook pretty quickly. So, alright, so while I'm waiting for our roasted stuff to come out of the oven, I just put a little bit, like a half a teaspoon of oil, just enough to get my bottom of my pan coated a little bit. And I'm going to cook up those Chevapis. All I'm going to do is just put them in that heated oil. They'll start to sizzle. I'm going to turn those until they're cooked all the way. Don't push down on them. Don't do anything crazy. And don't have the heat up too high. You don't want to burn them. You want them to cook all the way through. So I turn that down to about halfway so they can finish cooking. And I'm going to take the roasted stuff out of the oven. Smells so good. Alright, so we've got our roasted eggplant, roasted chickpeas, and the red pepper. Okay, now, our salad, I have a cup of white basmati rice, which is a long grade rice, which is really good for you. And it's cold because I actually made it earlier, and so it's ready to go. First, I need to take all of that eggplant, and I'm going to put it in my little magic blender. This stuff is very soft, so if you don't have like a magic bullet or a Ninja or a blender or whatever, go get one. But you could just, you know, do it with your hands and mush it up, hopefully. And I'm also going to put in there about half of the chickpeas. I'm going to add to it just about a tablespoon of lemon juice. Going to give it something to mix up with. And I'm going to blend the crap out of it. If it's giving you a hard time, just add a tiny bit of water just to give it something to move around in. Okay, now I'm going to take that beautiful paste that we just made that has roasted eggplant, roasted chickpeas, holy crap, and I'm going to add it to my rice. This is beautiful stuff that you could actually just eat this on toast, on crackers. I probably would add just a little bit of salt and pepper because we're going to add that to our salad. So you want to add that if you want to just use this like a paste, you go for it. It smells amazing, I can't even tell you. Okay, I'm going to add some salt, add a little bit of garlic powder, mix this up with my beautiful rice. The thing I'm going to add is just a little bit of cumin, which is a kind of a Middle Eastern flavor. It's also used in a lot of different ethnicities use cumin. It's beautiful, beautiful, smoky seed that they grind into this beautiful, beautiful flavor. The last thing is I'm going to add in the remainder of those chickpeas. Now, if you want to grind them all up, that's up to you, but I like the texture of them, so I like to leave them the way they are and just grind up half of them so I can still munch into those roasted chickpeas. Just going to mix that up. The last thing I'm going to do is make a little bit of that tzatziki sauce I've made it many times that I love it. All it is some plain yogurt, a little bit of lemon juice, and some dill. If you have fresh dill, it's even better. Add a little bit of chopped up cucumber. It'll be a beautiful color, beautiful flavor, clean, like I said, light. I'm obsessed with cucumbers. I guess you could be obsessed with worse things. Have you read Jane Eyre? Do you love Jane Eyre? It truly is, you know, a book that's filled with mystery and love and despair and just, you know, these relationships that are just beautiful. And I love to see the world through Jane Eyre's eyes in that book. And you get to see her at different stages of her life, which is kind of cool. Wants to, like I said, find home and find goodness and find love and life and all that amazing stuff. And it's just, I don't want to tell you what happens because it's that good. But go read Jane Eyre and report back and make this food. So, my Chevapis are ready. Oh my goodness. Now, if I were serving this to my husband, I'd serve them some kind of like bread, like a loaf of bread. I'd cut it, like get a loaf of French or Italian bread and cut it into angled slices. Some people will actually serve it on this beautiful, it's almost like a pita, but it's thicker and it just looks grilled and amazing. And I'm going to take that roasted red pepper and I'm going to take just a piece of it and I'm going to lay it on my plate like that. And then I'm going to take that gorgeous, what I'm calling Rochester salad, which really would be something far, far away from Rochester, New York. But I'm going to put some of that on there. I'm going to drizzle a little bit of that beautiful cucumber yogurt sauce on top of that. Holy cow. And there I have these beautiful Chevapi with my salad of roasted eggplant, chickpeas, basmati rice, roasted red pepper, garlic, dill, cucumbers. And this is not bad for you. I'm going to try a piece of my sausage. Really good, and because we use just a little bit of oil, it has a crispiness to it. But you fully get that vegetable, onion, spices flavor from the Vegeta. And it just, oh, it tastes, melts in your mouth good. And now I'm going to bite into my little salad, which, you know, as you break off a spoonful of your salad, you can break it off with a little bite of your roasted red pepper. Mmm. Mmm. I need a moment. It's that good. Look at that. Look at that. It's gorgeous. And you're getting all these vegetables. Mmm. This is divine. It's just a little bit of goodness. A lot of bit of goodness from Bosnia with love. And I will make this again and again. This is the first time I've made it. And I'm in love with the salad. Experiment. Experiment with good food. Experiment with ethnic foods. Experiment with restaurants you've never been to that might have food that you've never seen or heard of. And ask questions and try things. Because you may never know what hits home with you. And you may think of eating out as an obstacle or making this kind of food as an obstacle to your health or to your journey to eat better and feel better and live better. But this is whole food, people, and it's good for you. Oh. There are no words. There are no words. Go read Jane Eyre. Go eat this food. And I will see you next week on Novel Noms if I could pry myself away from this food.
From classics to children's books, you never know what she's gonna cook when Gretchen makes novel